you all those details as well. Also to follow up with the fact that we are giving you world coverage. Now at this time we head to the Entebbe International Airport where we link up with our team there. And on standby is Onyango Robert, who is on standby, and he's going to be interacting with the head of communications of the Civil Aviation Authority, that is Vianney Ucaa. And of course, we need to understand more of what is happening at the airport and the atmosphere there. Yes, Onyango.
Of UBC TV, and by the names of Robert Onyango. We are coming to you live from Entebbe International Airport, mainly here at the VVIP section, where we have been for the last 10 days rather. Today is our 10th day of our operation, and for the fellow Ugandans who have been part of us, we want to say thank you for choosing us as the main broadcaster of the non-aligned movement and G77 plus China summits. Indeed, we are very grateful that you have supported us, and almost we are going to say you have been with us as we made this history in our lives in terms of coverage and trustworthiness. Here we are summarizing the 10th day, where we are seeing off heads of state and probably most of the dignitaries who had came in Uganda to attend the two summits. They are leaving. Probably others will leave at leisure in any other day of the week. But as of this morning, we have witnessed the departure of the president of Botswana and followed by the Prime Minister from the Republic of Tanzania. As we wrap up our coverage of these two summits, we are trying to get a checkup of what exactly we have given you. And with me this morning is the PRO from the Civil Aviation Authority, Mr. Vianney Ucaa, who is going apparently to take us through where they would have stepped back, but probably we are very sure that they have done what we expected from them as the managers of the two air sites here at Entebbe International Airport. A good morning, Mr. Vianney.
A very good morning to you.
Thanks for joining us. Well, take us through what exactly has been the role of the Civil Aviation Authority in ensuring that we have history written.
It is a landmark occasion. As Uganda Civil Aviation Authority, we have been facilitators of the arriving delegates as well as of the departure processes. That has gone on very well, and we are pleased to have facilitated over 1,900 delegates from 129 countries and 6 international organizations. We have facilitated the VVIPs through the VVIP facility where we are, and this has catered for over 450 delegates in total. The rest of the delegates have been facilitated through the VIP at the main terminal at Entebbe International Airport. The processes have been handled very well, partly because the preparations were thorough. We had a series of dry runs in the run-up to hosting of the event. We held the first on 17th December and held another dry run on 10th January. And all these enabled us to look at the areas that required improvement so that those gaps were covered. And indeed, they were covered very well as the exercise has moved on very smoothly. And we are very pleased as an airport.
Well, like you said, have we been having the normal operations of the airports vis-a-vis the receiving and departure of the guests coming in for these summits?
Yes, while facilitating the delegates coming in and out for these summits, we have also been facilitating other passengers arriving and departing concurrently and smoothly. That has gone on very well without interruption, and this is partly because we have previously handled similar events in the past. You remember that Uganda hosted the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in 2007, which also had a number of delegates, but so far this is the biggest number of delegates that we are receiving as a country through Entebbe International Airport for any event. So this has been special. During CHOGAM, we did not exceed a total of 1,500 delegates, but this time we were almost having 2,000. So that is really a big number, but the challenges have been handled very well, while the delegates coming in for the summits are facilitated, while the passengers are also facilitated. Part of the reason that has enabled us to do this smoothly is because we completed the modified terminal building in time, and we have used that facility during this time. It was opened up for use by the public on 10th January, and that facility has enabled us, for departing passengers, a vehicle now drives by the departure road and the passenger exits the vehicle into the terminal. Similarly, on arrival, the expanded area is more ambient and there is more space. Concessionaires have set up branding areas, including telecoms, among others. Restaurants are also setting up. So this is going to help us going forward to even facilitate all the other passengers more conveniently with all the facilities that they need in an airport environment.
Of course, let's look at the issue of parking. There was a worry at the beginning of the summits that, we might have been not prepared. How have you managed the parking of the VVIPs and presidents?
First of all, we had earlier on expanded the facilities. Our aprons have capacity to park between 60 to 100 aircraft. We have not even reached the maximum capacity of those facilities. So as a country, this first of all shows that we are ready for anything. The facilities in place are now adequate, and we have used them ably to park the few private jets that we have had for this event.
This might not be entirely your question, but since we have you on set, I think you can chip in and give us, how did you handle the security of the VVIPs or even delegates during these two summits?
First of all, because of the many dry runs that we had, those dry runs included a number of stakeholders from all the different agencies, including security agencies. So, but besides that, at Entebbe International Airport, security is always tight because we are an international airport. So we meet standards both for safety and security that are in line with international standards across the globe. So even without an event of this nature, security at Entebbe International Airport is already at its highest. But of course, given the profile of guests that we had, it was definitely enhanced in liaison with all the stakeholders in the country. And that has also worked very well.
Well, government had promised us, I think the Minister for ICT, Dr. Christopher Yomo, said that one of the facilities in line with the data and the IT services or internet, we hope they upgraded it for usage during the two summits. Then are we going to see these facilities stay in place around the Entebbe Airport even after the conclusion of the two summits?
Yes, we are working in liaison with NITAU, which assisted in providing internet facilities at the airport, that with the Wi-Fi that we have been using. We shall continue to work with NITA to provide these services, not only NITA, but all the other stakeholders that we have worked with. We shall continue to work with them to ensure that some of the services that we have had, we continue extending them to our users of the facilities.
Well, Mr. Vianney, thank you. Then if I could just lastly pose you this question, what are the take-home lessons from the two summits as an airport?
First of all, we have seen that capacity is there in Uganda. The magnitude of these events and the manner in which it has been handled shows that we have capacity as a country and as an airport. When you look at the number of delegates that we facilitated, over 1,900 coming in. So when you add the departure, you multiply that by 2, that already is coming to close to 4,000 in 1 month. First of all, the passenger traffic is going to further increase. Last year in December, we had a total of 198,000 international passengers, and that was the biggest number of passengers we have had in the history of the airport in 1 month. Now that this number of delegates is added to the already existing passengers, we are definitely going to have many more in January. But what that shows is that going forward, when you use the example of CHOGM, when Uganda hosted CHOGM in 2007, the country had a total of 700,000 international passengers. The following year, 2008, it shot up to 900,000, almost by an entire 200,000. Now, given those trends and even what has happened in other countries, whenever a country hosts an event of this nature and you get so many guests, the subsequent year, the number of arrivals in the country increases, partly because these delegates tell others, and some of them come back for tourism. So definitely as a country and air transport, we are going to benefit. We expect these numbers to go high. The good thing is the facilities have been expanded, so we have capacity to cater for them. Beside the modified terminal that we opened up, there is another new terminal building sprouting, connecting to the current terminal, 20,000 square meters. And in July 2024, that will be open for use by the public, and our capacity will have been enhanced from the previous 2 million passengers that we can cater for a year to at least 3.5 million passengers a year.
Well, as you say goodbye to our viewers, just give us, when are we expecting the last delegate or delegation to leave Uganda?
As the conference winds up, we are having several departures today. We expect even more tomorrow, and we are ready to handle any others that choose to stay a little longer, because some of them decide to move around the country. So we are ready, and we welcome them through Entebbe International Airport.
Well, thank you, Mr. Vianney.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much to UBC for the opportunity.
Well, that is the Chief Communication Officer for the Civil Aviation Authority, Mr. Vianney Ucaa. You have heard it all from him, the experiences and what we are looking at as a country at the end of the day. What I've picked from him, and this is a good news for the rest of us, is that every time we have conferences of this magnitude, the following year, the arrivals, especially for those people who are coming to at least ensure that the treasure, the rich values and culture of Uganda keeps on going high. This is a take home, and this is why we should always advocate for more of such conferences to be coming to our country, the Pearl of Africa. We guess most of the delegates or delegations which have been here, they will go back and share a story about Uganda, and that story, we hope as of today, it will be a good story. Robin, we want to wind up this with inviting one or two of my colleagues whom we have been here with for the entire 10 days to ensure that they also share a picture of what exactly has been happening here. We have been a team of UBC partnering with PPU, and probably we also got some support force from the Vision Group in terms of to ensure that we gave you what we have given you. And we will be winding up by inviting one or two of these members to come here as Mr. Ucaa excuses us and he goes for other business. But I'm guided, like, let me first hand back to you as we organize for the last session of this live update from Entebbe International Airport.
All right, thank you, Robert. And of course, Robert has been interacting with Vianney Ucaa on matters to do with how the airport operations have